back to episode 17 of On the Wild. I'm Riley Keenan, once again joined by my co-host Anuj Basker.
Yee.
Today we're going to be doing a little NBA playoff breakdown. We're going to go through the bracket, try to determine a winner.
Yeah.
But we wanted to start off the show by sending a prayer to John Tavares.
That was scary.
That was terrifying. I saw it in the moment as soon as it happened, and I immediately was so shook. I was watching with my dad, and he didn't see it, and then the replay, man,
it was scary. Very, very scary. Hopefully he's going to be okay.
Yeah.
He's out indefinitely.
So. Yeah, so far they say the tests are clear, he doesn't have a concussion, which is very surprising. He got a knee right in the head. Incredible. He fainted backwards, and he was all bloody. It's just something you don't want to see. But to Leafs fans, I want to say this. One, I don't think it was intentional. I think it was such a fast bang-bang play.
From what I saw, it didn't look intentional. Yeah, no way.
It's a bang-bang play that it's hard to avoid that. You could see he tried to jump over it a little bit, but it's tough. He's rolling, And two, let's not blame the loss on it. Carey Price played an incredible game. He was the best goalie I've seen so far, and he missed a month of hockey. That was the first game he's played in a month. He was incredible. The Leafs were shut down.
You said it last week. If there's any goalie that can steal a series, it's Carey Price.
And the Leafs also shot themselves in the foot with a lot of penalties. I've never seen 3 delay of game penalties in a game. Spezza was tripping guys like crazy. To stay out of the box is the most important part in the playoffs. So that's tough, but hopefully they can bounce back. Also, to the people saying that the Nick Foligno fight, they don't like it. Personally, I think it's okay. I think in the moment it was Corey Perry even said it. He said that he went up to him and just basically said, "Listen, I know it was an accident, but he's our captain. I'm a new guy on this team. This needs to happen."
Yeah, I feel to a lot of people who haven't played hockey, they wouldn't understand it as much.
Yeah.
Just considering it's not intentional, so why would you fight him? But I feel that's just part of the sport.
Exactly. It happened at the beginning of the year when Simmons fought a guy in Vancouver, and it pumped the whole Leafs up. That's what Foligno was trying to do, get the Leafs fired up, because you just saw your captain, your third best player, go down. You could see Matthews and Marner on the bench, just emotional. There was a way to fire the team up, and it did a little bit, but, it's a tough game. They got a bounce-back game, too.
Yeah.
But, yeah, moving into the NBA playoffs, super exciting. We got the last play. We're filming this on Friday.
Yeah. So Golden State and Memphis play tonight for the 8th seed.
Yeah.
I'm picking the Warriors.
I'm picking the Warriors too.
But we can predict what would happen either way.
Yeah.
We can just start with that series. If it's Memphis, Utah is sweeping them.
Yeah, I think it's a quick series.
Yeah. And if it's Golden State, I think they can push it to 5 or 6 games maybe.
Yeah, I think the Jazz win in 6.
Yeah.
If it's Golden State, just because, they're the only top 5 defensive and offensive team in the league. They're going to be able to not minimalize Curry, but not make him as effective.
But I feel Steph is just going to win them a game or two.
Yeah, 100%.
He's on a historic run.
Yeah, the series to me is up to Andrew Wiggins in a way, because if he needs to average 25 a game.
He played great against the Lakers.
The Lakers, yeah.
In the
he defended LeBron really well, but obviously it's LeBron at the end of the day.
Yeah.
That shot was incredible. That game was nuts.
It's not lucky because he didn't. Well, obviously, there's a certain amount of luck into it because you're shooting a 35-footer.
Yeah.
But if you look at how he shot it, it was his regular shooting form. Yeah. And it's not like he had 0.4 seconds left. He had a whole almost 2 seconds left.
Yeah.
So he was able to gather and take a real shot.
Did you see the Flight Reacts video? Because earlier in the game, Curry hit that shot over LeBron, and he was like, "Oh, LeBron would never hit that shot. Never in a million years. He hits it to win the game, basically."
Words before disaster.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, man. That was a crazy game. I like the playing games, to be honest. Just to see a one-off Curry-LeBron game, to me, that's incredible.
I'm not too big of a fan of it just because you have a 72-game season. I understood it for the bubble because they only had 8 games, so you have to find a way for the teams who aren't in the playoffs currently to have a chance at the playoffs. But when you have 72 games, I feel that's more than enough to determine a 1 through 8.
If anything, I think you could maybe do an 8 versus 9, but 7 to have the 7 seed. Is weird.
Yeah, because more likely than not, you have a good record with the 7th seed, especially in the West.
I honestly thought that the Lakers were gonna lose that game, not necessarily on purpose, but I didn't think they were gonna put their best foot forward because personally, I'd rather play the Jazz than the Suns.
Really?
But at the end of the day, they're all competitors. They don't really care who they play. I'd hope so. But yeah.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to lose on purpose.
Yeah. But so we both take the Jazz beating the Warriors or the Grizzlies?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And then, so next series, who's what the 4v5, Clippers Mavericks, second year in a row they're playing.
I feel the Mavericks would have won last year if Porzingis didn't get hurt.
Didn't go out. Yeah, this series is going to be super interesting, but I think the Clippers are better than they were last year. I think they're being coached better. They're more adaptable.
Yeah, I think Rondo is going to make a big big difference.
Yeah.
They're not good in close games.
They're not good at finishing games.
They're second last in clutch points.
Yeah.
So if it's a close game, then it's going to be up in the air. But I think the Clippers got it in 5 or 6.
Yeah, I'm going to take the Clippers in 6. I could see it going 7. I think Doncic will pull off a couple games. And Porzingis is the X factor for the Mavericks. Because they don't have too much depth. They don't have too great of a shooting team. So it's going to be up to him a lot. He needs to play inside.
If you look at the series last year, Seth Curry was a huge part of Dallas' success. So and he's obviously not there anymore. They traded him to Philly.
Yeah, and Jalen Brunson's played a lot more in his absence, but he's still not like as good of a shooter. He's a better defender, but like they need to hit shots late game.
Yeah.
I think Kawhi is just going to kind of take over. I think Paul George will have a really good series.
Kawhi's been struggling the last couple weeks.
Yeah.
Maybe it's because he's not fully into it yet because he's gearing up for the playoffs, but he just hasn't been.
That's kind of been his MO. I mean, when he was with the Raptors, he had a good season, but late in the season he turned it on a little bit, but he still hadn't shown himself. Mm-hmm. But we know him in the playoffs to step it up to another level, so I'm not too worried about him. And then we got the 2-7 is
Lakers and Suns.
Suns, yeah. I feel bad for the Suns because I think it's going to be the Lakers.
Yeah.
I think Lakers are winning 6.
And LeBron's, I think he's 14-0 in the first round.
Yeah.
I think my numbers are right.
Yeah, he's never lost a first round series. I don't see it happening now. I think the Suns are going to put up a good fight.
Yeah, I think it goes like 6.
Yeah. Ayton's going to need to defend really well. He's going to need to be a big player in the series, but I just don't see him taking over a game.
I think Booker will play great.
Yeah.
I think Chris Paul is going to be good regardless. It's Chris Paul. But Ayton, I don't know. He plays very like hesitant almost. Mm-hmm. It's like he doesn't like use his talent. Yeah. Like, he's very hesitant to do things.
Yeah. And especially like if he's going to have AD on him, which I don't know if he will or not.
This is just a really bad matchup for the Suns.
Yeah, it's tough.
I would give the Suns a chance against every single team in the playoffs.
Except for the Lakers,
just because of the matchup. Because
they just don't have anyone to defend LeBron.
Or AD.
Yeah. Which AD looked a lot better in that game against the Warriors in the second half. Leading up to it. Yeah, in the second half. First half, him and LeBron didn't look too good.
And Schroeder needs to, bro.
Oh, he needs to step up.
It's obvious he's not, like, from that game, he's playing for a contract.
100%. Caldwell Pope is looking good, though. He
played well.
His corner shooting's unreal.
Caruso played really well, too.
Yeah. It's going to be a really interesting series. I think it'll be good. I think the Suns will take game 1. And then after that, I could see just the Lakers taking over.
Yeah.
But it'll be interesting. And then we got the 3-6 game, which is...
Who is the 3-6 game?
I literally am blanking.
Who's the 3-6?
Oh, Nuggets, Portland.
Yeah, I mean, that's a pretty forgettable series, I'm going to be honest.
It's forgettable, but it's also the one that I'm honestly... Okay, behind Miami, Milwaukee, I'm most hyped for this one.
Yeah, I'm most excited for the Bucks and the Heat.
That series is going to be crazy. But Nuggets, Portland, I think Vegas has Portland as the favorite, but I think it goes 7 games. I think it can go either way.
I'm picking Portland.
I'm picking the Nuggets. Because I think, first of all, Lillard and Jokic are both going to just go off. They don't really have anyone that can check the other side. Mm-hmm. Portland has a more reliable starting lineup, I think, but I think Denver's bench is going to be more supportive in terms of their starting lineup. And MPJ, like, as a second option, it sucks that they don't have Murray, but I think he'll do a good job.
He'll be fine. I think Portland, they're one of the hottest teams in the NBA. I think they won 10 of their last 12 in the regular season. Dame's on fire right now. CJ McCollum's regaining the form he had at the beginning of the season.
Norman Powell's going to be huge for that series, too.
Yeah. They got Nurkic back now. Melo coming off the bench.
I mean, hearing this makes me want to take Portland, but I'm sticking with the MVP. Yeah. And he should be the MVP.
No, he'll win it.
I don't know how you don't pick a guy who's nearly averaging a triple-double as a center without a true second option.
Yeah, he'll win it, but I think Portland's going to take it.
Yeah. And then, do you want to move on to the East, or do you want to just go through the West bracket?
Let's just go through the West.
Yeah. So then we'd have
Utah and the Clippers.
I think the Clippers take this in 6.
Yeah.
I just... Like, Donovan Mitchell's the big what-if for me.
He's playing.
He's playing, but is he going to be what he was in the playoffs last year, or is he going to play like he did in the regular season? He didn't really live up to the hype this year. I think the team was just super good, and they had a lot of options, so he didn't get the ball as much.
Yeah.
But when it comes to crunch time, I think he'll step up. But the Clippers, they just have the right guys to defend them. They can't really the wings that the Clippers have are just more dominant, I think.
I agree. I got Clippers in 6.
Yeah.
Utah just doesn't scare me.
Mm-hmm. They're just like we said earlier. They're the Hawks.
They're the 2016 Hawks.
Yeah, they got a good roster. They just don't have anyone that can really take.
They don't have like that guy.
Yeah, they don't like Mitchell's on his way, but I still don't even think he'll reach that point. Mm-hmm. He's still pretty young, but I mean the Clippers have one, and if Paul George is playing good, they got two.
Yeah.
So I go with them, and then we go to the Lakers would take on
the Nuggets and yours.
The Nuggets in mine, Portland and yours.
Trailblazers in mine.
So what do you think for yours?
I think the Lakers would win in 5 or 6.
Yeah, same as last year, pretty much.
Pretty much.
Yeah. Me, I'd take Lakers in 5. I think Jokic and the boys could squeak out a game, but I think Lakers just take over. Mm-hmm. They just don't have anyone to match up with them at the end of the day, and I don't trust MPJ defensively enough to guard LeBron.
Yeah.
Paul Millsap isn't going to make too much of a...
I don't even think Paul Millsap's there anymore.
Is he? Oh my God, yeah.
Where is Paul Millsap? I don't know.
It's like kind of like Udonis Haslem. It's just like he's kind of just there.
Millsap plays at least, so
yeah.
See, Udonis Haslem goes in the game for 3 minutes. First 3 minutes of the season for him.
Yeah.
Gets ejected immediately.
Poor guy, man. Maybe that's what he was trying to do. Maybe that was the whole goal.
I mean,
get the team fired up.
I did see a quote. He's like, "If this is my last time playing, I'm gonna go out like Udonis Haslem."
Yeah, that's jokes. Yeah, but I go Lakers in that series, and then we get what everybody wants.
Everybody wanted last year.
Yeah, the Battle of LA, first time it would ever happen.
Lakers.
It's a tough series.
6 or 7.
I think it goes 7 games, and I think the Lakers take it.
If it goes 7, the Lakers are gonna win.
Yeah, I hate saying like talking about the superstars so much, but that's kind of just the way the NBA is. Like in other sports, like McDavid and Draisaitl, they're 2 of the best players in the league, but I would still take almost every playoff team over them. But like in the NBA, like at the end of the day, the duo of the Lakers is better than the duo of the Clippers. And there's just no one to truly guard AD.
The supporting cast is very similar.
Exactly. Yeah. So I think it goes 7. I think the Lakers take it.
Yeah.
Back-to-back finals appearances for them. But then we move on to the East. This is where I think the East is a lot more challenging to pick because.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, yeah. In some ways, yeah.
Yeah. Starting from the top, it's the Sixers against the Wizards. I don't think there's too much competition there. As much as Beal's balling out, as much as Westbrook's a triple-double beast, they can't defend.
Embiid.
Yeah, there's no one that's going to be able to stop Embiid. They're going to run through them. And then Simmons is going to be a great guy to guard the 1-2 punch of Westbrook and Beal.
And you have Harris, you have Curry, you have...
Yeah. I think the Wizards might take one, maybe on like a clutch basket, but I think it's the Sixers in 5.
I'll say 5 too.
Yeah. And then we got the 4-5 Knicks finally making it back to the playoffs as a 4 seed too.
13K in MSG on Sunday.
Yeah, right on them. Randall had a crazy year. Barrett has had a criminally underrated defensive year. His field goal percentage defensively is better than some of the best in the game, like Jimmy Butler, those guys. So kudos to
RJ
them.
Barrett had a really good year this year.
Yeah.
I think he averaged 20.
Yeah, he
shot 40% from 3, I think.
Yeah, and then Derrick Rose is a 6th Man of the Year nominee, so good on him. That series is going to be a battle. I think the Knicks take it in 6.
Yeah, Knicks in 6.
Because the Hawks just have a good deep team, but they don't have as much chemistry as you would hope for.
They've played a lot better since they got rid of Lloyd Pierce and brought in Nate McMillan.
Yeah.
They've played a lot better. Trae Young, we've said a lot about Trae Young on this podcast, but he's been playing a lot better.
He'll have a good series. He'll be the X factor at the end of the day. Like if he can just pop off, then I could see the Hawks taking it, but
I think the Knicks are just going to lock him down.
Yeah, they're just deeper. I think the coaching's better at the end of the day. It's going to be really interesting.
I'm not a huge fan of Tom Thibodeau, as a coach, but
I think he just works well in the system.
He wins.
Yeah,
he wins.
He wins games, and the Knicks just look like a whole different team.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's weird taking the Knicks, but I'm gonna take the Knicks in 6.
Mm-hmm.
And then Nets Celtics, which on paper should be an incredible series, but I think it's gonna be a quick
Nets
one.
in 5.
Yeah, without Jaylen Brown there, it's 5
They
games.
don't have a chance.
Yeah, like
Tatum's Brad Stevens was like, if I was a fan, I wouldn't think the Celtics are gonna win.
Yeah, like Tatum's gonna do the best he can. I think he'll have like a Michael Jordan against the Celtics series where he'll.
I won't go that far.
No, like he's not gonna put up 60, but like I could see him putting up like 40 a game, maybe. Like
he's gonna have to.
Yeah, literally he'll have to
for him to even stand a chance.
Yeah, like if you got Kyrie, Harden, and Durant just going back and forth. Like it's at that series, it's gonna be who can score the most points.
Pretty much.
But Marcus Smart is going to be huge for that series. If he can play the way he played against the Raptors in that second round, like it's going to be interesting, but I think it's 5 games.
I think this is one of those series that KD is just going to take over.
I hope so. I really want to see KD just return to form and be that guy. Because so much you kind of see, like everyone's kind of talking about Kyrie, how he's taking over games, and Harden, he's playing this great facilitating role. But KD has been like slowly under the radar, like I'm just waiting for my opportunity to kill it. So yeah,
and then Nets in 5.
Yeah, same. And then the biggest series, I think, Bucks Heat. It's a rematch of last year where we both had the Heat winning.
Yeah, we didn't have this podcast during the bubble last year, but we both picked the Heat to beat the Bucks in the second round.
They just match up so well against them. And I think they could take it again this year, but I think the addition of Drew Holiday is massive. I think the Bucks take it in 6.
And the Heat aren't a good team on the road.
Yeah.
So they benefited a lot from the bubble.
Yeah, and guys like Hero and Robinson haven't taken that step up that Heat fans hoped for. I think they will in the future. Maybe not as much Robinson, but Hero definitely.
It's looking really weird now. Looking back, they wouldn't trade Tyler Hero for James Harden.
Really weird. Imagine, man.
Harden, and
this would be it's already super exciting. But imagine if Heat on Miami and just having the 1-2 punch with the Nets be super interesting. But yeah, I think I take the Bucks because, as I've said before, I think Giannis is going to be on a vengeance tour. But at the end of the day, he's got the hardest road to the playoffs.
Yeah.
Or to the final.
Yeah, definitely.
On paper, if you're taking the highest seed, he's got to go through
Miami,
the Heat, the Nets, and then the Sixers.
Philly.
And then you got to play either the Lakers, Clippers, someone else in the final. It's absurd what they have to go through. If they win, better than the Mavericks final, I think. Better than the Mavericks run. Because obviously they went through Kobe, KD, and they beat LeBron. But I just think this year, everyone's so focused on the Lakers, the Nets, and the Clippers that it's just he's going to come out of nowhere. He's not even in the MVP running this year, Giannis. So it should be interesting.
Yeah, I got Bucks in 6.
Yeah.
I think they'll take it this year. Mm-hmm. They're finally ready to take that jump. If they don't win, Budenholzer's gone, and then who knows what they do from there.
That extension's looking rough for Giannis, too.
Not really. I mean...
he's in a good situation, but it's just... With all the teams around them, it's hard, man.
Yeah, facts.
It's tough. Moving on now to the second round. We got the Sixers taking on the Knicks. 1v4. Who you got taking it?
I got Sixers in 6. I think the Knicks will.
We'll take a couple.
Yeah, I think they match up kind of well with the Sixers.
Yeah,
but because just how good they are defensively.
Yeah, I wonder if Barrett's going to guard Simmons or who.
Yeah, but I guess that's always a tough matchup.
Yeah, he's not a huge offensive threat, but at the end of the day, he's their second option.
No, I would say Tobias Harris is
their
second option.
Yeah, he's kind of like the X factor. If he's playing a good game, I'm taking the Sixers against almost everybody. But it's tough. But yeah, I think I'm gonna take Sixers in 5 because I just think their defense is so solid. Embiid's gonna be able to shut down whoever's in the paint. Simmons is gonna go 1 through 4 for the most part. So yeah, I think Sixers in 5.
You know what? Yeah, I'm gonna go 5 actually because I feel like they'll steal a game in New York.
Yeah.
And then they'll close it out in Philadelphia.
Yeah. It'll be a good series, though. It'll be interesting, especially seeing the Knicks back in it again. Philly versus New York. That's always interesting.
Yeah.
But then we got
two toxic fan bases.
Yeah, facts. But we got one of the biggest matchups of the playoffs, one of the ones I'm most excited for if it happens. Brooklyn, Milwaukee.
Yeah.
That'll be a crazy series because Milwaukee's just solid defensively, and Brooklyn's just going to be trying to run up the score whoever they play.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a tough one.
I almost want to take the Bucks.
I want to too because they beat them twice.
Yeah.
It was without Harden, but they did beat them twice.
Yeah. It just always comes back to having those 3 options that no matter what, there's going to be one of them that's going to be having a good game.
Chris Middleton is the X factor in this series.
Big time.
So you know KD, Harden, and Kyrie are going to show up.
Yeah.
Drew Holiday, I have confidence in.
Yeah, you know what you're going to get from Drew. He's going to play good defense. He's going to be able to hit his shots, be good inside. Giannis, if he can shoot the 3 ball, they're going to be extremely dangerous. But yeah, like you said, Middleton is huge.
Middleton's going to decide the series. But I'll go Brooklyn and 6 or 7.
I think Brooklyn in 7 because I think, honestly, Milwaukee will take the series early. I think they'll maybe go up 2-0, and then Brooklyn's going to kind of have a gut check time where they're
2-0 in Brooklyn?
Maybe split the deficit. And then Milwaukee, they'll take one, go up 2-1, and then it's a whole new series from there. Mm-hmm. I just think, in Milwaukee, too, their crowds.
I'm very interested in how both teams are going to adjust game to game because obviously Budenholzer's known for not adjusting.
Yeah, he's not adaptable. Against the Raptors. With Boston, he was when they beat them when they were down 2-0, and then they played the Raptors. They just didn't fix their game.
Yeah.
All they were trying to do is shoot threes.
And then on the other side, you have a first-time head coach, Steve Nash. And then you have Mike D'Antoni on the bench, who's also known for not
necessarily switching it up. Yeah, with Houston. It'll be super interesting. That's going to be like maybe the series of the playoffs, I think, because the second round usually is when teams they're more comfortable and they're not tired as much yet. So second round's super interesting. I think I'm gonna take the Nets in 7, but I wouldn't be surprised if the Bucks took it.
I wouldn't be surprised at all if the Bucks won.
Yeah, I'd honestly be kind of happy. I don't want to see Brooklyn winning it. I don't, because I don't like the idea that you can just stack a team and lose all your depth.
I don't think they're as unbeatable as a lot of people think they are.
Yeah, because they're just not as good defensively as everybody else. They're going to be running up the score, like I said, but
outscoring people in the playoffs doesn't work as well as you would think.
Defense wins championships at the end of the day. Like, the Lakers were able to shut it down.
You could say Golden State. Well, Golden State was always top 5 in defense.
Yeah, like Draymond Green was a defensive player. Yeah, he was a defensive player of the year. He's a nominee this year, too.
He may have won, too.
Yeah.
And he played great in the play-in on defense.
He's so phenomenal.
Terrible offensively, but...
Yeah, like he's a good playmaker. He's probably one of the best pick-and-roll partners to have in the league. I mean, I think him and Steph just have so much chemistry at this point.
He's a good offensive player. I'm just talking about like in that specific game against the Lakers, he was not good.
Yeah, like he was offense. I think he was like 0 for 5. You hit like one free throw maybe. It was just embarrassing.
There was one play where he just lost the ball going for a layup. But I just don't. I'll take the Nets, but that's iffy.
Yeah, it'll be super interesting. And then you got the Sixers against Brooklyn. This one is possibly, I don't know if it's even more interesting, but just like the matchups, like having Simmons be able to guard one of those guys is going to neutralize
KD.
them. Yeah, it'll be KD.
Ben Simmons is as good of a matchup as you can get for KD.
Yeah, and then you got, I'd say Drew Holiday's probably going to be on Kyrie.
Maybe.
Or maybe no, Dante, probably DiVincenzo, and then they got Drew on Harden.
Drew Holiday will take the ball, so it'll probably be Harden.
And Dante's a good defender too. I mean, when you're going up against a superstar, you never know what you're going to get.
Yeah.
And then, I mean, Embiid. Oh wait, I'm talking about the Bucks right now. What am I saying?
Oh,
it'd be Sixers and Nets. So yeah, well, Simmons will be on Durant, and then they'll have Thibault. I mean, he's a good defender.
Thibault, yeah, he's a very good defender. That's so funny. We're talking Simmons on KD.
Yeah, Drew Holiday.
Drew Holiday.
Imagine
building the East super team against the Nets.
That'd be crazy. Giannis with the Sixers.
But yeah. Simmons on KD. They don't start Thibault, but definitely when he's in the game, he'll be on one of those two ball handlers.
I know you were like a big Sixers guy. Do you think they can go deep? I think the Nets would take it in 6 because the Sixers haven't had too much history. Obviously, the Nets haven't played together, the big three, enough. But the Sixers haven't ever had a playoff necessarily where they were all healthy at the same time. Like they did against the Raptors, but Embiid missed a couple games. Simmons wasn't at his best. It'll be super interesting to see how they all mesh together, but I think the Nets just have the veteran aspect to it. They've all been there before.
This is so tough for me. Because Harden, we don't know how he's going to play. He has a history with not performing in the playoffs.
Or he'll just kind of like take a game over. He's not going to move the ball, which, just like KD playing with Draymond, give me the ball.
Yeah.
Like I could see them getting pretty heated at each other.
Yeah. I really want to pick Philadelphia.
Yeah.
I really do, because they don't have anybody who can sniff Joel Embiid.
Yeah. For me, I would rather be surprised by the Sixers winning than feel like an idiot with picking the Sixers and the Nets just rolling all over them.
Yeah, the Nets is definitely the safe pick.
Yeah. For this, I'm just going with my gut for everything. I want to think about it with my brain and try to like decipher who the matchups and all this.
Overthink it.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, it's just like who's the guy that's going to take over at the end of the game.
I'll go Brooklyn in 7.
7? I could see it go 7 too. It's going to be a really good series. The Eastern Conference is super competitive, which I love that it's matching up against the West a lot more.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'll go Brooklyn in 7. I don't want to pick them, but I'll pick Brooklyn.
All year we've been saying Lakers-Nets final.
I mean, that's what people want to see. Yeah, I would want to see that.
I would love to see that. Durant against LeBron again.
I just personally love Embiid and Simmons. I just always have. So I have a little bit of a bias with them. But I mean, Brooklyn and the Lakers, you can't really get any better than that.
It's going to be an insane series if that does happen. Who do you think takes it? For the better part of the year, we've been saying the Lakers winning, right?
Yeah, I'll say the Lakers.
Yeah.
7.
They worry me, man. I just think it really does depend on how they play in the first round. If they come out in the first round firing on all cylinders, I'm not worried about the Lakers at all. But if there's games where AD just can't get it going and LeBron,
I'm not really worried about them, especially against a team like the Nets.
Yeah.
They have no answer for AD or Drummond.
Yeah. The only thing that worries me is Lakers, I don't know if they necessarily have an answer for the Nets guys. Because LeBron will be able to match up pretty well against KD, but
Harden. They'll put AD on KD.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, and then LeBron will be on Harden, and then Kyrie is the guy. He's the X factor.
Schroeder's not a bad defender. Like,
not at all.
He does it like before the play-in. He was the best defender in the NBA against Steph Curry.
Yeah.
In this season, obviously Curry cooked him in the play-in.
Yeah.
But Curry cooks everybody.
Yeah, Curry can do whatever he wants.
And obviously you're not going to stop the Brooklyn big three.
Yeah. It'll be a really interesting series.
But
I could see it going to 7.
They're going to make it so they're going to try to make other players beat them. Joe
Yeah.
Harris, Jeff Green. I don't even know a lot of their role players. DeAndre Jordan.
Blake Griffin, I'm interested to see because he's been playing a lot better, but he's still not at the point he ever was before, and he's still not. I don't think he's good enough to be a starter.
I'll pick the Lakers because they show the ability to be able to adjust to what teams are giving them.
Yeah,
they did it against Golden State. Taking Drummond out, putting AD at the 5, playing small, even though AD's 6'10", 6'11".
For me, I think I take the Lakers in 6. But if it goes to a 7th game, I think I would take the Nets because I just have more faith in them playing up to it rather than the 1-2 punch of
really.
Because look, LeBron is one of the best Game 7 players we've ever seen.
He's the best. Yeah, he averages the most points.
Yeah, but I just don't think they're.
And he hasn't lost a Game 7 since 2011.
Yeah.
No, not 2011. 2010, I think.
Yeah, because in a Game 7, I don't see any of the Brooklyn Big Three fading away and not playing that well. I think they're all going to come in ready to play. I don't see the Lakers, even though I think they have more depth, I don't know if they're all going to be able to play the games they need to play. Caldwell Pope is going to need to be hitting shots all the time. Caruso is going to need to be quick and play solid defense. And Kuzma is I just don't think he's good enough to show up in the big moments, And
Kuzma is the most inconsistent NBA player I've ever seen in my life.
He's so much better when the stars aren't playing because he's getting the ball primarily. But as a third, fourth option, he kind of just dwindles into the.
He's gotten better with offensive rebounding. That's kind of been his thing this year. He's really good getting second chance points, but he's just too inconsistent.
Yeah. If that series goes to a Game 7, that I'd be more hyped than I was for Golden State Cleveland.
Really?
And he obviously coming back from 3-1 was crazy, but just the star power that they got in this series, it could go down as the greatest game in history. I just hope that the games aren't one team blows the one out, the other one blows them out.
That was the thing with the 2016 series. Game 7 was great, one of the best basketball games ever.
Yeah.
But games 1 to 6 were all blowouts.
Yeah, all blowouts. So I hope all the games can be close. That's the one thing about the NBA that I'm worried about in the playoffs sometimes. It's a blowout.
Mm-hmm.
The Pacers killed Charlotte, and you're oh, this Wizards game's going to be great. And then the Wizards kill them. It's oh, it's never really even balanced. But I was happy to see that Lakers-Warriors game be close.
Yeah.
Also, Memphis has to put Dylan Brooks on Steph Curry tonight. Have to. I think he could be an all-second-team defense this year. If not, he'll be that in the future. But he's incredible on the perimeter.
Yeah, he is. Very good defender.
Yeah.
Memphis has a good little core.
Yeah.
Jaren Jackson.
They're going to be good in the future. Once Jaren Jackson, if he could ever be healthy fully, they're going to be dangerous. Jonas is playing better than he's ever played before. He had 23 and 23 the other night. Jean Morant's going to grow into a phenomenal player. Dylan Brooks, like we said, is great defensively. Brandon Clark, Canadian boy, I like him a lot too.
Isn't Dylan Brooks Canadian too?
Yeah. Yeah, Dylan Brooks, he went to Oregon. He's Canadian. Yeah, Oregon always has Canadian guys, I swear, every year. Chris Boucher was on Oregon.
Was he?
Yeah. But yeah, that series is going to be good tonight. Finals, whatever it is, it's going to be hype. This is one of the most excited I've ever been for an NBA playoffs because there's just so many teams that can make stuff happen. And you really don't as much as we say, the Bucks could make it to the final. For all we know, they could lose in the first round in 5 like they did last year. So it's going to be tough to tell.
What finals do you want to see?
If I could pick the finals, I would want to see Milwaukee Lakers because I want to see Giannis versus LeBron because I think it would just be a great story, a great narrative, and you go into the future if Giannis continues to have this illustrious career, and then you kind of have a little documentary of that was his, maybe not the Detroit to the Bulls, but it was his little challenge. I had to beat LeBron. But I'd also really love to see actually, no, I don't want to see the Clippers in the final because I want Kawhi to regret that decision for the rest of his life. I want him to go, damn, I should have went back to Toronto.
It's great. I think he'll re-sign with Clippers regardless of what happens, but it'll be interesting. If they somehow get upset by Dallas.
Yeah, I would love to see that, honestly, because I would just love to see Doncic just pull it off and everyone go yeah, this is the guy. This is the guy that's going to run the league for the future. Yeah. As much as everyone's talking about Giannis and Tatum, I think it's Doncic at the end of the day.
No, it's definitely Doncic and Giannis.
And Zion they're talking about too, but I mean, he didn't even make the playoffs this year.
He's a star already.
Oh, yeah. He's not superstar level yet, but he's up there.
Yeah.
The guy can take over a game.
He has the highest. I think he has the highest field goal percentage ever.
Yeah. He's unstoppable. He really is. It's just, can the pieces he's around show up? And I'm really curious to see if Lonzo resigns, because I think that would be a huge loss for them. But they haven't also utilized him the way they should have. For the first half of the season, he was more of a shooter, and they used him better now. He played a lot better, but I don't know.
Looking back at it, they should have went and tried to get Chris Paul.
Yeah. Dude, Chris Paul would have elevated that team. Like, he already elevates everyone.
With Zion, you probably would have had to trade Lonzo Ball, Josh Hart.
Which would have been okay.
Yeah. So then you have Lonzo Ball, or Chris Paul, B.I.
and Zion. And Steven Adams at center is...
Yeah.
I mean, Chris Paul and him have a relationship after last year. That would, oh, man, I would have loved to see that team now. When I think about it. Man.
But the finals I would want to see is Lakers and Knicks, because I want to see L.A. versus New York in the finals.
That'd be cool. I'd want to see that in the future if the Knicks ever got.
Yeah, well, the Knicks would get destroyed, but I want to see LA and New York in the finals.
But man, if what do you think LeBron's like? The people who say Jordan is the GOAT and LeBron can never surpass him. If LeBron wins the title this year, say over Brooklyn, where do you think he kind of ranks? Do you think people take a second look at it, or they're just so on Jordan?
People who think Jordan's the GOAT probably aren't going to change it.
Yeah, even if like LeBron three-peated, I still think people are going to be like, oh, well, he lost 9.
Yeah. Well, he lost 6.
Or 6, sorry, yeah. He's been to 9. Or no, he's been to 10 now.
10.
But yeah, like they're always going to say that, but it's like if he gets 6 chips, he's been to the finals 12 times. Like, that's absurd.
In like 20 years.
Yeah, and at that point. Was it this year or is it last year that he was the same age as Jordan when he three-peated the second time?
He's 36 now and Jordan was 35, so last year.
So last year. So if he can win it now again, like, that just shows that he's got more longevity. Because even though he did kind of put up 20 points per game on the Wizards, he wasn't an impactful player. He didn't really help them out that much.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. If you think Jordan's the GOAT at this point, you're probably not going to change.
Yeah.
Unless LeBron just wins like 4 straight. And he's going to be the all-time leading scorer.
Yeah, he'll have assists too.
At this point, people have their mind made up. If you think LeBron's the GOAT, like I think LeBron's the GOAT.
Yeah.
I'm probably not going to change.
Yeah. Right this moment, I think Jordan's the GOAT. Just in terms of like the greatest of all time in the NBA. But as I've said before, if I'm going into like a Game 7 or I'm going into the playoffs and I pick a guy, I'm taking LeBron. Because he's going to make your team better more than Jordan would. Jordan's more so, he's going to get it done late in the game. LeBron's going to be the guy that's going to elevate everyone else in the lineup.
And also the thing, like, LeBron's not clutch.
He's totally, we saw it yesterday. Like, the guy can hit a 3 over Steph Curry to win a game. He's done it many times.
He has the most, I think, playoff buzzer beaters ever. Yeah. He has more than Kobe and Jordan combined.
Yeah. And LeBron just doesn't lose to bad teams. Whenever he's lost, it's been to a team that put up a great fight and had a good roster.
Golden State.
Yeah, Golden State.
San Antonio. Boston, the Big 3 Celtics.
Yeah, even the Dallas loss. They had a good team.
No, that was bad.
He shouldn't have lost, but like, let's not take anything away from Dallas. They ran through the West.
They had a historic run, but Miami should have
won. Absolutely. But yeah, I would take a big-time second look at the GOAT in that territory.
Especially coming off this injury, coming back with very limited time, a couple games before the playoffs, and then taking it over.
I'm curious too, like before we wrap up here, the news about the Falcons, Julio Jones, do you think he's going to get traded?
At this point, yeah. It's very weird because the coach and the GM have kind of said like, oh, we're trying to win now, but we're also trying to build for the future. Yeah. This would totally go against
their draft pick.
That whole idea of trying to win now.
By trading Julio, why wouldn't you just draft Fields or trade back to draft him later? Because the Pitts signing is perfect. Or the Pitts draft pick, you got Ridley, Jones, Pitts. Like, what an offense!
Because the Pitts pick would be like, oh, we're trying to maximize Matt Ryan for whatever he has left.
Exactly.
But if you get rid of Julio Jones, now you're
taking away his number 1 option. So it's
you're kind of going against what you've been saying this whole time. So basically, I have no idea what the hell they're doing. Yeah, respectfully.
Like, in my mind, like I'm thinking, like, oh, the Packers have to make a move to get him so that Rodgers will stay. But like you said,
they're not trading him to the NFC.
Yeah, he'll go to the AFC.
Baltimore,
the Patriots,
Chargers, Colts.
Yeah, if he goes to Baltimore,
Miami maybe, because they have draft picks.
Miami would be really cool too. Yeah, he would probably love to play in Miami.
Alabama quarterback, Alabama. Yeah. Rookie receiver.
What a
build him up like he did Ridley.
Yeah. Man, I just don't want to see him go. I like watching guys finish their careers with the team they started with. And Julio's just one of those guys. Like, you've always loved him. So it's like...
Yeah, it'll be weird because when I really got into football, or really like started to watch it, it was the 2010-2011 season. So the year the Packers won the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Atlanta won 13-3, and they got Julio Jones in the draft. They traded up with Cleveland.
Yeah. The history Cleveland and Atlanta have is absurd.
Yeah, it's crazy, actually. But he's just always been there, so seeing him in a different uniform will definitely be weird. But, I mean, you have to move on at some point.
Yeah.
But I'm a lot more open to the idea of trading to Julio Jones. A lot more than I was, a couple months ago.
Yeah. I mean, the return, I think, will be pretty good, too. So it should be pretty interesting.
I actually don't even know how he's valued to teams.
Yeah. I would think, like
second.
I would think, like, a first-round pick, if not a second, and then, like, a decently valued player.
If my dream scenario, if they were to trade him, would be, like, a good young player and a second-round pick.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense. But, yeah, that should be a good place to wrap up. If you haven't checked out our J. Cole Ultimate album, please do.
Please do.
If you have any suggestions for artists we'll do in the future, because we're going to do a whole lot of them. We're looking to basically just do, like, if an artist drops, kind of go through their whole discography as well as their new one. If they're not planning to drop, I guess we just kind of do it anyways.
Yeah, let us know who you guys want to see in the comments on either this video or in the Ultimate album video that we dropped on Wednesday.
Yeah.
But yeah, just let us know because we want to do it. It's super fun. So
yeah, we're open and we're like, you haven't heard everybody's discography, so you learn some new songs. You learn what you like. Like I like 10 new J. Cole songs listening to him, so it's fun to do. So yeah, just let us know.
Yeah. That does it for this episode. Make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Comment down below, and we'll see y'all next week. Take it easy. Peace.